Alright guys, here's what we got. I scanned in the characters I drew. Here they are. Haven't touched them up or anything, I'll go through that. I've made myself a palette here that I intend to use for them. I want to use the same palette for all of them so that they all look like they're linked. And then here I have the actual background that they'll be displayed on in-game. So I've got this here in case I need to overlay them and just see how they look on it. This here is going to be my work area. I'm going to clean them up, put them side by side in here so that I can color them all at once in kind of one go, make sure they all match. I want them all to look good together. So, the first thing I do when you scan these in, even though they're in black and white, they're not going to look like they're in black and white. I mean, they're not really in black and white. There's color in here. That's what I mean to say. This is all color if you look. It's all actual color. It's not white. So what I usually do is I convert it to a grayscale under Image, Mode, then Grayscale. Okay. I'm going to do this page as well. I had two pages. Grayscale. Okay. Then what I do is I go to Adjustment. It's Image, Adjustments, Brightness and Contrast. I turn the contrast up and I turn the brightness up. Depending on how large I'm working. If I'm working very large, I crank them all the way up. And that just basically sets it to two colors. It'll only do this if you put it in grayscale. And then that way you can just flood fill. Let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and try it on this and see how it works. So it's 100%, 100%, both brightness and contrast. Again on this one, Image, Adjustments, Brightness and Contrast. Brightness is 100, contrast is 100. I've got these scanned very large. If you scan the image pretty small, you're gonna get some jagged edges. But at this range, at this size, this is a 25% view, so it's pretty big. Let's see how big it's scanned. 3,500 pixels tall. It's pretty big. A resolution of 300 pixels per inch. If I zoom way in, you can see this is his hair. It's just two colors. And what that allows you to do is flood fill kind of recklessly. It's pretty nice. Alright, so here we go. I'm just going to cut them out like so. Oh, okay, what I'm using, I almost forgot. I'm using the lasso tool here, just going around them. And I like to hold the shift key so I can just keep adding to that lasso. So I hope this records. I'm going to go around it here, around between under his toes, up around here. I'm going to press the Alt key to subtract because I don't want that arrow. The arrow doesn't actually point to anything. Control X to cut. Control V to paste that cut in. Position him where I want him. Then go to the next one. This is our little wizard guy. Just going around him like so. Control X, Control V, got him in place. And if you remember, if you watched previously, I drew his arms separately because I didn't pan out my picture very well. Select that with a lasso, Control X, Control V. Put that about right there. These are all in different layers, these pieces. That his arms over him, and there's some white and stuff around it. I'll clean it up in a minute. Well, I'm cleaning it up right now. So I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to use the, what's it called? I don't know the name of any of my tools. The magic wand. I'm going to use the magic wand. Select. What I did is I selected that white area around his arm. And because there's only two colors, I've got my tolerance set to 0. I just selected all that white on the outside. Delete that out. Deselect. Now I can position that arm about where it needs to go. About right there. Use the lasso tool. And I always have my feathering set to 0. And that way it selects totally solid. You won't get any kind of faded. You won't confuse your brushes any. When you're working the size, there's a little room for error, but I like to I like to keep it just two colors at this stage, black and white. Black and white, that's it. See, if I zoom in, no matter how close I get, it's just black and white everywhere. And there's a little bit of little nasty stuff, like you see these little white dots inside here? Those are kind of nasty at this size. When I reduced it down, it wouldn't be noticeable, but I'll go ahead and show you guys how to fill those in too. I've got a trick for that as well. Select this rat, paste him in here, like so. Select this little guy, I think he's my favorite one. Put him in here. Give them all a little room to breathe. You'll notice I'm just skipping the weapons. Gonna do those later. Not trying to connect them to the characters yet. Take this head, pop it in there right next to that guy. Gonna do that same trick. I'm gonna select the white around it, delete that out. That way I don't accidentally overlap his ear here, or overlap his ear there. Alright, these are blades. This is garbage. These are the teeth. We don't need this window anymore. Nope. Alright. Let's just get this down here kind of out of the way. This is the blades, the teeth. These are the little extra things we're going to overlay on these characters when we're ready. I guess I'll go ahead and move them up into the document. There's room. That way everybody's together. Big old meat cleaver here in the corner. Just pasting that right in here. If you see, there's white around it. It could kind of be confusing. Use that select that white and get rid of it. And that way you can place it in here. Go ahead and get the rest of them. Alright, we don't need that anymore. Paste the last ones in. There we go. Cool. And where's my colors at? They're there. Let's move these down here. I'm just going to rotate this rotate canvas clockwise. That way it fits in better down here. It's just a picture. I drew some squares and then filled them with colors I thought chose these colors. I thought they might look nice over this. We'll see. If they don't, it's easily adjusted. I'm going to use cropping tool to just trim this down a little bit. That way it runs a little smoother. There we go. File save. Okay, if you see over here, I have 11 layers. A lot of layers. We don't need all those layers because we're only working with 2 colors. So I'm just going to go ahead and flatten everything. Nothing's touching. None of the weapons are touching anyone. Nobody's overlapping anyone. Everybody's got plenty of room to breathe. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten image. Alright. Now we want to get these guys flood filled as quick as possible. We've got one layer, it's background. I'm going to right click on that, duplicate layer. We've got a duplicate layer. Then I'm going to select the area outside of each character. If you remember when I was drawing them, I tried to make sure to outline them. Okay, this is so that this is for now. So when I select the outside area around them, and I hold shift to keep selecting, I want to get in here and get all these little spots. Like there, there. This is the outside of the characters, the background. This meat cleaver's got a spot on it, a little hole there. Let's see. Who else has got one? This meat cleaver up here's got one. Apparently these rats, they like cleavers. Let's see, just gotta kind of look, see if there's any spots I missed. Looks like everything. Okay, and this is that top layer, the second layer we just created. I'm going to hit delete to delete everything I've got selected. And then that back layer, background here, let's see, I'm just going to go ahead and delete everything on it. Select all, delete everything. So I've got a solid white. So I've got them on their own layer. They should be filled. If I want to flood fill that background orange, all my characters and everything I need to color should be. If I didn't get any leaks, there might be a leak somewhere. Yeah, here's one. Here's a leak right here. See where I didn't connect that line? I didn't go all the way around like I said. Just going to fix that leak with a hard-edged pencil. Flood fill some white in there. There we go. Characters are all filled in with color white. Should make. At this point, if I wanted to color it, I could just do a select all color and just pick white, because there's only 3 colors in my picture now. Black, white, and this lovely orange. Oh, there's a spot I missed on his foot. Let's fill that in. Whoops, wrong color. Alright, these guys are ready for color. So let's see. I'm just throwing some color in there real quick. I'm going to have to zoom in and be a little more precise with these guys. This is just flood fill tool. You can see there's some spots in here. Like that spot there, a couple other spots that you're just gonna miss. Like, look at his nose. That's a mess, but I'll show you how to take care of that in a minute. This part is usually not so fun for me. I like the next part a lot. Oh, there's another spot I missed right here. See there? I missed the area between his tail and his foot. Just gotta kind of try to watch for him. Just select it all and delete. I left this area behind him here on purpose because I figure he's got this kind of cape situation going on. So it's probably hanging back there. Is that all the skin? The blood feels spilled over here. Again, using a hard edge pencil. Very good. Choose a really light brown for that bag. Undo, man. You just gotta undo constantly. Hard edge. I'm gonna go ahead and fill in this area here. Whoops, got a little graphic error going on there. My Photoshop does that sometimes in the edge. I'm not sure what it is. Throw pink on that tail. Pink tail. Pink tail. I think maybe, if I remember, I think those are called leaks. Whenever you're trying to flood fill and then it spills out, I think that's called a leak. I think I remember one of the guys I used to work with in comics calling it that. Choosing a few different shades of these colors just to break it up a little bit. I'll probably pull colors off this guy whenever we get rolling. Hard edge pencil, that's all I'm using. This is pretty much it from here on. I'll probably skip ahead. Let me show you how I handle the white real quick. See all this little white inside here? There's white here, there's white here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this character. I'm using the lasso tool. I'm holding shift and just adding to it, so I'm only selecting him. And that color has not been corrupted, that white color. That white color is still that white color. It's the same solid white. Everything we're adding is just hard edges. If you zoom in, see. When using that flood fill, make sure you got the tolerance of 0. You got it on contiguous. Keep the anti-LES off. You just zoom in when you flood fill and just see and make sure it's staying hard like that. If it's not, start unchecking things, figure it out. That's what I did. It's irritating. I remember it being irritating. And then when a new version of something comes out, you get to learn new little quirks like that. Alright, so I've got him selected. All of him selected. I'm going to go to Select, Color Range, and I'm going to pick that white. If that white's not there, you can select it over here in your color window. Select that white. Now, all that white just that I had selected there is inside my selection has been picked. So now, I can just take my dropper, get the colors, make my pencil larger, just fill those spots in that I missed earlier. See his nose where all those little spots were? Fill that in. I'm not getting all these little tiny ones inside. I'm just getting the large areas the player's going to see from far back. I don't know if it's showing up or not, but there's little sparkles all over him, little specks. I'm just going to leave those right now on purpose. Because later, I'm going to do that same thing I just did, but I'm going to fill it all with black. Because now I've hit all the big areas I needed to hit. See, I got them all. So I'm going to hit select, deselect. I'm going to encircle him one more time. If you look, there's little tiny white specks in here. It's just kind of messy, but I'm going to select him one more time. This will probably be the last time we have to select this guy. Alright, we got them all selected here. we'll do. Going to select color range, that white color again. Now it's got all those little specks. I'm going to select the color black, go to edit, fill, foreground color, blending normal, opacity 100, let's leave all that. Say OK, bam, all those little white specks are gone. Look how clean that looks now. Zoom in, solid colors, man, all the way around. Now he's going to be real easy to color. And if I want to go and add white into him, now I can, and I won't have to worry about polluting anything for later. I'll put some white specks in his eyes there. It's just fine. Alright, thanks. I'm going to go ahead and do these other characters. I don't see any reason that I need to record all of that. I'm going to select colors off of him now, probably. I think he looks pretty good in those colors, and make sure they all match. Alright, thanks. Alright, I'm about done flood filling these guys. So I thought I'd go ahead and pick back up. Just about done here. Been sampling colors from one another to make sure they match. Zoom in on these guys. Usually I wouldn't be working this quickly or this recklessly, but the whole point kind of these tutorials is to show my personal quick method of getting this done. Because especially when you work alone, you just you got a lot of work to do. So you need to do it fast. This is the fastest I know of yet. Some of these tricks of like keeping your colors under control and stuff like that. Not using too many. It's the only thing I know to do to speed it up. Cause it could take, I mean, I could spend just on one of these characters I could spend hours, so. There are some tools, plugins for Photoshop that will attempt to flood fill for you. I used to have to use them. Kind of, I mean, like, they do it, I guess, but when you have work that has a lot of these little white dots and stuff in it, it's almost more work than it's worth to mess with them. More trouble than it's worth, I guess. Most of the time, even though I was told to do it by my art directors, I would just go ahead and not do that. I'd just do it this way. It's just cleaner to do it manually. Select all, or select color range. Gonna do white again. Now if you hit Control H, sometimes you have to hit it twice, it'll turn off the animation for what you have selected. So if you just remember that you've got white selected, that can be really nice, because now I've got white selected but I don't have that annoying animation playing. So I'm just coloring in white. Still on just the, well, I got two layers, but I'm still on the one layer. Fix his nose. Get his eyes colored. Sometimes when I want something to remain white, but I'm doing this selecting trick, picking color, I'll pick a color that's almost white, like that you can't even tell with the naked eye. that it's not white, like for his teeth here, and I'll go ahead and fill that in. And then later, when I do that select all, and I pick the color white, it won't grab that color because it's not technically white. Just keep everything 100% and it should be alright. Alright, that should be everything. Oh, forgot him. Do the nose, get that eye yellow. Alright, that should be everything that's white. Zoom out a little bit. So if I do select, deselect, then select all again, color range, the color white. Just a bunch of little specks you can barely see. Then fill with the color black. Black's my foreground color, so foreground color is the one I got selected. Fill, select, deselect, all done. There we go. Every little spot has been addressed. Cool. Now we can start coloring these guys. Alright, I stood back, looked at them for a little bit, and there's a few things I want to change. First, let's make that background white. There we go. I noticed this dude's arm, right there, it needs a little attention. It's too short, so I'm going to try to make it just slightly longer. I'm not too worried about it, but something just looks a little off there, so it needs a little attention. And then I think I want to go around to all their feet and add in kind of a pinkish color on their feet as well to kind of match the tail. I think that'd look cool. So those are what I'm about to do. Let's do the feet first, that'll be the easiest thing. Now all their feet are the same color, so I should be able to just go select, color range, pick the color that is their fur. Now I've got that selected. Hit Control H twice to get rid of that animation. Then select the color of the tail using that hard edged brush. I'm just going to go in there and draw it out. Like so. I should probably do the inside of the ears too, actually. Whoops. Must be a leak in there somewhere. There we go. Not sure if this is going to look better or not. Put a little chain link on this one's foot. He'd been captured before, this guy, and he escaped. I'm hoping that it makes him look less like a prisoner or a victim and more like a rat, like a little sneaky thief who can get away from anything. Can't keep him locked up. And the inside of the ears real quick. I don't know if I should do the noses or not. Worried it might make them too cute. Of course, lots of RPGs, JRPGs anyway, have cute enemies that players seem to have no problem with brutalizing. Like, remember Secret of Mana and Legend of Mana, those games have the little rabbits. That's Final Fantasy got the cactrots and cute stuff like that. we go. I'm going to go ahead and do the noses, but I'm going to do it in a darker, kind of a mix between the brown and that pink, maybe. See how that looks. So we've got that brown of their fur selected, so that's the only part we're coloring. Still have not. See if I hit Control H, ignore the grid, but you can see the animation comes back in. That grid is from me doing some tile art earlier. But I've still got that brown selected, so. Hard part's just about over. This is it, just keeping all this stuff straight. After this, I'm just going to do a real simple cell shading. I'll show you how to do that just using selection tools, and wham bam, it's quick. Yeah, alright. That works for me. Alright, I'm going to save it. Alright, going to fix that arm. I almost forgot. Let's see here. I'm thinking maybe if I just take that lasso tool, go up here, just kind of select it, cut it. Control X, Control V to paste it. Maybe just move it down a hair. Just a little bit. Then select those two layers. The new one I just pasted in, and then the original one I'm working on. Hit Control E. That'll merge them. Merge those two together. Anything you've selected. And you can select two of them by holding Shift and then clicking. So I want this layer and then the next layer. Hold Shift, then I hit Control E. Bonds them together. Then I'm just going to do the pencil, solid black. Fill that arm in. So I'd fill that color and see if that looks a little better. I think that looks a little better already. That's what I needed. It's just a little short. Alright, so. And I mean, you know, these are just enemies that the player's just going to encounter briefly, so like, they're not perfect. I'm not 100% happy with this one's face over here on the right. I'm not 100% happy with this guy's pose. I'm pretty happy with this first guy. I'm pretty happy with this middle guy. This third guy here, but you know, I'm working alone. I just got to keep pushing forward. It's that kind of thing. So every little thing can't be perfect, or you'll never get done. So I know when I worked in comics, and there would be like people who were like independent comic book creators who were asking me how I got stuff done, and really it's just, honestly, I think a big part of it is not being a perfectionist. I love for everything to be perfect. I love to have infinite time to work on stuff, but I don't have that much time, and so gotta kind of just say, and I mean, and this may be terrible advice, but it's what I do. It's just sometimes, hey, it's good enough, you know. Wish I had more time. Doesn't mean be lazy or be a slob or whatever, but it just means don't dwell over every little thing. That's what I think anyway. What I'm doing here is going in and adding the cloaks. In the background there, the tattered cloaks they've got on. Yeah. That works pretty good. Whoops. Alright. Save, and then we can start putting some shadows on them. Alright, I went ahead and looked at the file size. I think I'm gonna go ahead and try to do it all together. So, here is my quick and messy and ugly and probably incorrect way to do shading on these little sprites as quick as possible. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select the lasso tool, and I'm going to put my other hand on that shift key, and I'm going to select all the shaded areas. The light source for most of these is going to be coming from above, just kind of generically. So I'm selecting where I want shadows to be based on the light coming from above. And if I accidentally select an area I don't want, hold Alt, just unselect that area. See, he's got this big old nose that comes out, so it's probably going to cast a big shadow. I'm going to put a lot of shadow around this eye, try to make him look a little more sinister. They're kind of looking cuter than I wanted. Maybe put some little wrinkles here in his brow to show how angry he gets. You can also do this for highlights, but I colored with the highlighted color. That's my current plan anyway. I colored with the highlighted color. Wish I had time to go in and soft shade every little thing, but I've got a timetable I'm trying to keep to for this project. Here we go. Just selected shadows. Almost done with this character. Do his feet here. Remembering all these little creases that'll be in his tail. Alright. Let's see. It looks like that's it. Hit Control H. Then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest, but I think you get the idea. I'm just gonna go through and do the shadows on each of these guys the same way. I've got that still selected. See, right there. I'm gonna go to Image, Adjust, Brightness and Contrast. I'm just gonna drop the brightness down. Then we got some shadows. It's not perfect, but it's quick and it gets it done. And if you want to add more shadows, just go in and do this whole process again. Drop the brightness down again. You can do the same thing with highlights, but you'll want to be careful not to select the black, because sometimes you could get some yucky looking gray in there. And let's see how this guy's going to look in game. Copy. I've got this here. Paste. I'm hitting Control T, which is to transform. I'm holding Alt and Shift. That'll keep it from being distorted. So if you hold Alt and Shift after hitting Control T and grab this corner, you can shrink it down, like so. Alright, let's throw a shadow under him real quick. I'll do a little bit better job of this later, but throw a shadow under him. That's how he's going to look in game. Not too bad, I don't think, considering how quickly I rushed through it. So, alright, that ties this up. I'll have more later. I almost forgot the last part that I said I was going to do, where I tie them together with the little teeth and stuff. So, I've done shading them. I'm going to save here. Then I'm going to give them some weapons. So let's see here. Let's make our work area a little bigger. Using the cropping tool, you can make your work area larger as well. Let's get these weapons and teeth on their own layer. So I'm selecting them, Control X, Control V, they're on their own layer. Put them down here so I can get them out of the way. Get his head up here. This was the one I was going to copy the head onto. Yeah, let's see. Copy that. Move this down just a hair, paste, making a duplicate of that body. I'm going to cut and paste that head. Zoom in here, cut this head out. Move this head into position. And there we go. And let's just to make him look a little different. Let's go in and add some little decorations on his clothing the other one won't have. Make them just some little swiggles here. Something here maybe. Let's put some decorations here. I'm just making random lines. At the distance that the player is going to be seeing these, you're not really going to be able to see what those are anyway. Maybe change his belt buckle here into something different. I'm using a hard-edged brush for all this. Change this into something a little different so it looks different. Maybe, let's see, what could we do here? Maybe throw a knife in here. He's got a little knife that the other guy doesn't have. Just started pouring outside all of a sudden. I don't know if my mic's picking that up or not. It is really coming down all of a sudden. Alright. So now we've got another guy there. Let's give these guys some weapons. Now I'm going to paste these weapons behind them for the time being, unless I see a reason to put them in the front. I'm going to put them behind them. So see, I'm just putting them, arranging the blade like so. And with that transfer tool, you can change the angle of them as well. Transform tool. So like I can paste this blade. See, I got this blade. Control T gives you a little box. If you reach out to the edge here, you can rotate it. Rotate it like so. Put it in another spot. That's going to mess up your hard edge though. So you'll want this to be one of the final things you do. So give this guy some little daggers. These are some crude little daggers, but he's got them. They get the job done. Pointy end goes in the other guy. Right. We got this cool meat cleaver here, and then we got this blade here. Let's see. Who will this look best on? I bet it'll be this guy up here. He looks like the type that would use something like this. There we go. Sorry, the error popped up again. Has something to do with I've got dual monitors set up, and sometimes when the picture goes over to the other monitor, like if I stretch it out too far, I'm not recording the other monitor, but it just kind of freaks out. Let's see, I might try this blade up there. This big meaty cleaver here. I think that thing's pretty nasty looking. Let's try it up there instead on this guy. Yeah, it looks a little more threatening, I think. There we go. They've both got weapons. This little dude's got weapons. He's got his weapons. Everybody's good. So now, combine all those layers. Let's do the teeth. I'm going to do this long tooth first. I'm just going to go over each character and try to find a spot to put it. So see, here's one. I'm going to shrink it down using the Control T method. Find some spots to hang them on his belt here. There. Let's put another one there. This one's a little fatter. A little bit fatter tooth. So see, he's got a couple teeth. And this guy here, he's got teeth all over him already, because he was the one we were working on when we came up with the idea. I hang a couple more on him though. These are all making new layers, but we're gonna just flatten them. So I'll give him one from his ear. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? He's got one hanging from his ear right here. There we go. Give him a couple other little earrings to make sure the player knows those are earrings he's got there. Let's see, this guy up here, give him one. Off his belt here. Alright, and then we got a couple other teeth down here we drew. We're done with that one, we used it up. Here we got like a shark tooth. It's a pretty cool tooth. Let's see. Put it right here on this knife. Yeah. You know what would look cool? Is if we put one over this. Yeah, like that. That's cool looking. Yeah, and then we'll put a couple hanging off of his let's put this on someone else. Let's see who else could have one. He could have some right here. I'm going to rotate him a little bit. There we go. Then we got one last tooth here. Let's see. Be a small one probably. To make this one hanging off of this guy's little belt he's got here. He's got a little trinket belt strap type thing hanging from his wrist of trophies. Alright, and it looks like I forgot. Let's see. Forgot to give this one guy a tail. I'm just gonna grab this guy's tail and throw it on there real quick. See how tacky it looks. If it looks alright. Put it like so. See if I can get away with using it again. Put it like so right here. Try not to create any tangents, make sure everything reads alright. And that guy up there lost his tail. He doesn't have a tail. Alright, so I'm selecting all those layers, not the background, combining them, see it's still transparent. Gonna make one more layer, and I'm gonna add some shadows on these guys here. Trying to remember the light source is coming from directly above. I'm using the lasso tool again. I'm vaguely following their shapes, like his tail's here, so I'm going to make his shadow do kind of like this under him, and then I'm going to make a little kind of vague one kind of reach out there. It doesn't have to be exact. Just kind of like that. Alright, I'm not doing this top guy yet because I've got him in the wrong spot. Alright, flood fill solid black. Alright, let's move this top guy out and do his as well. Move him away a little bit up here. Alright. Flood fill black. Alright, set that to 50% opacity. And then throw some blur on that. Let's see, it'll be under filter, blur, blur more. No, that's not right. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Then here you can crank it up, get it where you want it. We're going to try it at around 15. There we go. That should do it. These guys should look pretty good. Let's see, save. Merge the two. Zoom out. Let's throw them in the map and see how they look. This map will also be, or not map, I'm sorry, background. This background will be how I size them whenever I make the finals as well. So like I'll size them up just like this. Well, I could do it right now. Boom. I like how that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and select them. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and select each one with the lasso tool. Cut. Make a new file. Paste. Delete that background layer because we want it to be transparent. Save as, and then I'm going to save it, and that'll be that. So, thank you very much.